Today on Geek Devotions, we're talking about a story, your story to be exact, and how it can affect a galaxy far, far away. Hello, and welcome to Geek Devotions, a show from a couple devoted geeks devoted to letting people know that they are loved. I am Celeste, and with me is...
Dallas!
And we are super excited to do the episode 6.
Yes!
That's what tonight is about.
Episode
Today,
6.
Tonight, whenever you're watching this.
I'm super excited about it.
Yeah. It was fun to watch.
It was.
We had a lot of fun.
It was a blast.
I forget that is one of the more fun ones because it has the teddy bears.
Deadly teddy bears.
Deadly teddy bears. Beware of the deadly teddy bears. They protect you from the monsters. So today we're going to be talking about the power of a story. And in episode 6, we see quite a bit going on. You have the Ewoks, because I do know the name. They look like teddy bears. But there's a lot going on. But what we're going to be focusing on is the fact that the Ewoks thought that C-3PO was a deity.
Awkward.
And, yes, very awkward. And that he was then, because they were so enamored with him, they began listening to him as he told the story.
Right. And
you could pick up bits and pieces of him speaking in their language, telling the story of the last 2 movies.
Right.
So, quite interesting. Like, these Ewoks are just fascinated by what C-3PO is saying, and eventually that causes them to become involved in the things that are happening.
I think it's actually one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie, because he is drawing them in with the story. And of course, he's got the sound effects and stuff like that, but like they're really enthralled in this thing. And it was actually one of the first things, like, it was kind of bringing the Ewoks and the, I don't know what you call them, the Rebel Alliance together, because they're hearing this one story.
Brought them into the fold. Now, this fact that he was telling this story to the Ewoks is a little bit different for us, but it can apply to us telling our stories.
Yeah,
now,
absolutely. Hopefully
no one thinks you're a deity. You know, that would be bad. It goes against our programming to impersonate deities.
It's just a bad idea.
Just a bad idea.
Bad idea to impersonate a deity.
Now, you may be asking, what is our story? And our story is that God loved us and He saved us. That is our testimony. It's
Right.
our story. It's the way that we can share with people what God has done in our lives.
Right, absolutely.
And it's so important to share your stories. I know that you shared your story with several people and it's impacted lives pretty heavily. So I've done the same, and I don't know if it has impacted people the same way, but it's still there.
Right.
It's still just as powerful.
Yeah.
So now I will say this, for the people who before you came to God, before you came into the faith, that you were definitely living in the world and you were into all the things of the world and doing all the stuff you should not do now that you are a Christian.
Right.
Your story is amazing and precious to God.
It is.
Because you have an example of, this is what I was like, and now this is what I'm like, because God changed me.
Yeah.
On the other side of that, for the people who grew up in church, and while you may not have been a Christian the whole time, you were generally an okay person,
Right.
Your story is still just as powerful.
And just as precious.
Just as precious. Because it's not us that makes the story powerful.
Right.
It's God.
Right.
It's the fact that Jesus came down and died for us, and that we accept His love, that makes the story precious.
Right. That's something people get lost on. They think that their story has to be about this big dramatic stuff. But it really does boil down to the core values of, I was lost in sin.
Yeah.
God made a way for me to have a relationship with Him through Christ's sacrifice. Jesus died for me, and now I can live a life that's sinless and glorified to Christ, or to God.
That's really the key point and the theme in everyone's stories, even the people who grew up in church.
Yeah.
That, like, they were there, but even if you grow up in church, you're still a sinner. You still have to repent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I do know that some people on both sides of the fence can be ashamed. They can be ashamed of the things they did beforehand, or they can be ashamed that they didn't do more, which I've run into a couple times. It always baffles me.
It gets a little weird.
It does, but you shouldn't be ashamed of your testimony.
Right.
You should never be ashamed of what God has brought you out of, whether it's just I was not a Christian, I did not accept God's love, I was in rebellion, or if it was I was doing XYZ.
Right. I think some of those, like, people are ashamed that their testimony isn't powerful enough.
Yeah, and that's a thing,
and
too.
Their testimony is it's not, because they want the testimony of what God brought them from, but the power of what God kept them from?
Yeah.
That's just as powerful.
It is. Well, it says in Timothy, in 2 Timothy 1:8, "Therefore do not be ashamed of the testimony about our Lord, nor me, his prisoner, but share in suffering for the gospel by the power of God." I love that Paul is telling Timothy to not be ashamed, because Timothy's mom and grandmother were pretty influential in his life, so I'm pretty sure he would have been one of the church kids.
Right. Absolutely. And what's cool about it is, like, it says here, don't be ashamed of the testimony, obviously, nor of me, his prisoner. So he's talking about, like, as we're, don't be ashamed of the testimony of who Christ is, but also of the people who are suffering because of Christ. And that's really what some of that boils down to. Everyone's like, either they shy away from telling the story because they're like, oh man, my family's kind of crazy, or well, my family did this, but now that they are serving Jesus, but I'm scared. Like, every bit of this testimony of it, it's important. And continue on, it says, but share in the suffering and the gospel of the power of God. This is a communal. My story is your story.
Yeah.
Your story is our story, and that's the beauty of the gospel and this whole thing is, it's all connected. It's not the story of us,
right? It's the story of God,
right?
And what He's done in all of our lives, and what He wants to do in everyone's lives.
Yeah. At our church, our pastor's been doing this series called Threads, and he's talking about how every strand of our life, every little thread comes together to make this beautiful tapestry that's not us, but of God. And he's kind of based it out of Romans, where says that God works all things out to the good of those who love Him, and it's for our good, but for God's glory. And it's, again, we're sharing in the story, your story, whatever you've been through. And that's our story, and it's the story of who Christ is. Yeah.
Well, and it was interesting because this Sunday, our pastor's wife preached, and she said that, talking about Rachel and Leah, they kind of had a very, very awkward situation going on, very unconventional, at least from our thinking. But if Rachel had not been part of the family and had Joseph, then Judah would not have had a family, and we wouldn't have Jesus.
Right.
And if Leah had not been a part of the family, we wouldn't have Judah, and we wouldn't have Jesus. So it's God used both of them, and used a really weird situation to bring us our Savior. So it's even if you don't think that it's great, it's still part of the story. It still brings glory to God.
Absolutely.
Okay, guys. Well, that was your devotion for the week. I hope that it touched you.
Yes.
I hope that it made an impact in your life. But here is the question of the week.
The week.
Question of the week. What's your story? We want to know. We love to hear your story. We love to hear anyone's story.
Yeah.
So we'll put ours in the description down below, or the comments. Yeah, we'll put it in the comments. And I forgot.
Leave yours down here too.
Yeah, leave yours down there too. So you put yours there, we'll put ours there. Everybody will read everybody's. It'll be good.
That'll be good.
Don't forget to check out our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we also have Twitch, although we haven't done a lot except host Retro Rewind podcast.
We're hoping to kick that off a little bit more, hopefully this week.
We're hoping to get that going.
Also, just fair, if you like today's content, make sure you hit the like button, and because that helps YouTube go, hey, this is good material, we should put this out. But also, subscribe to our channel. If you like this, subscribe. And share. Share with the world. And if you want to hang out with some other amazing Devoted Geeks, check out Devoted Geek Life on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com, search for Devoted Geek Life. And we have a whole bunch of really cool people there.
We do.
We love to love on you, love to talk with you, and just be a devoted geek with you. So I think that's about it.
I think we're good. Well, stay devoted.
Peace and love.